Hey there, a rational theist here, coming at you for episode 16 after a bit of a delay. My grand aspirations for having my Starlink set up and working down in the Peruvian Amazon failed miserably, but we figured it out on the last day. So hopefully, here soon, we will start having another Missions of the Amazon podcast along with some cool ASMR stuff for bedtimes for the kiddos and just want to experience some of the sights and sounds of the jungle. We will have that here shortly, and I'll be able to do some podcasts when I'm down there here in a few weeks. But for today, I'm coming at you for the birthday of America and here on vacation out in Colorado with the whole family. So if you hear some ambient noise, the kids are off playing around, but snuck away for a bit just to give one simple word. In the past few weeks of just processing everything that God did through the group that came down to Peru with me, and then working on myself, I have one word, and it is perspective. And perspective oftentimes, I think, requires a great deal of experience, and maybe people have different perspectives based on where they grew up, what they may have endured or experienced via trauma, or the type of atmosphere they grew up in, or the friends that they're currently surrounded by, or the city they live in. But as it pertains to America today, I want to say that I love this country. And part of loving this country is that it allows me to be very frustrated with it. And the freedom that we get to live with, and that I personally get to explore with my faith, and I guess my opinion or my critiques of it is uniquely American. That is part of the origin story of where the early pilgrims came from, and in pursuit of being able to live out their faith freely from the British monarchy. And then we see how quickly that idealism falls in their massacring of the indigenous Americans, and then the development of a new society and a civilization here in America where, man, there's some things that I really, really love about this country, and there's some things that I get very, very frustrated with. But I think for me, that is the beauty of this country. There's plenty of places that we see real time right now that doesn't get that same freedom, whether it be in Russia, whether it be in China, whether it be many countries in Africa, now even in South America, where um, you're not safe to go on social media and speak your mind or give your opinion to people because there may be great consequences. But as far as the country that I live in and have won the genetic lottery to be able to be born here, I am going to take the win and do my best to explore that freedom and be able to capitalize on that freedom, whether it be within my own community and being able to share my faith with my neighbors and the people that I work with, or around the world where I can travel very freely as an American citizen. That is not always the case. A lot of my Peruvian peers and my right hand guy, Jorge, he can't get a visa out of the country to come to America. And that's actually um, a Peruvian policy, not an American one, that his own country does not want him to leave because of what it could potentially do to reflect on the country itself. And the Peru is trying to do its best to have its good grace with the rest of the world. And so because of that, because Jorge doesn't have a full-time gig that pays him with paychecks and stubs to show his overall salary, that he's a threat that once he leaves the country, he may not come back. And so Peru's not going to give him that visa, at least at the moment. And we've tried a bunch, and we've tried with his kids, and It's just something where if I just sit back and think about the country that I live in today, it is just a blessing that I don't even have to consider these things. Like for me, it's a privilege to say the least. But at the same time, with that privilege that I get to live with, I'm going to make sure it's worth it. And I want to be able to leverage the influence that I have to be able to go out throughout the world and give my thoughts and opinions and share my love. And that's one of the things that I got to do the last few weeks. And that's something I'm going to continue to talk about. I don't want to talk about it today just because it's going to get pretty deep really fast. But to be able to spend a couple of weeks with a group of young people, 18 to 25, and hear their heart and hear what is important to them and what authentic relationship looks like, what authentic life looks like, is so encouraging to me. And I felt mobilized in just being able to live and work alongside of them. That in coming back, I want to go get it, and America allows for that, and I have that freedom and the flexibility. And so for that, I guess the only message I really have is, yay, America. I love you. And I am very frustrated by you a lot of times. I'm frustrated by the government, by the system, by individuals that are not good faith actors. But I can do my part in my little part of the world, with my sphere of influence. And if I really take a step back and think about it and put it through the perspective of what I've experienced around the world and my friends around the world, that I'm abundantly blessed to be able to live here, to have the freedom and the flexibility that I live with. And I'm going to continue to capitalize on that blessing as long as I can. And I'd encourage you to do the same. That for those of you that are living in America, just catch your blessings and understand how uniquely blessed you are, to be in a place that gives us this freedom and the flexibility. And also the the opportunity to protest, the opportunity to speak your mind or go up against maybe what the status quo is or what society or our culture is telling us to do. That sure, there may be consequences to speaking our mind, but we can do that very freely and very liberally. And for that point, I'm grateful. And that's pretty much, I guess, all I have to say today. I feel like it's a pretty shallow message, but I just want to get out and get back on here and say a few things. And hopefully I'll have more for you guys tomorrow. But um, for my movie today, I want to just review quickly the movie Hidden Figures. It's got Taraji P. Henson, Janelle Monáe, and Octavia Spencer. And it's about these three gals, within the space program, and they're trying to figure out how to get astronauts that are sent out back into orbit without burning up in our atmosphere, and just all the calculations that are needed. But I think the movie itself very accurately represents specifically the times in the segregation where we see how poorly women were treated, and then specifically Black women, within a workplace where Black women were segregated on one side and white women were available to have a different, nicer building that they worked in, cleaner bathrooms, all these different things. And Taraji P. Henson's character, just what she had to go through, even to go to the bathroom and find the Black restroom, and how ridiculous that is, just to even think about. But I know there is that racism still laced within so much of our culture and society, that I think being able to watch that movie, we can learn something. That who the heck cares about the color of skin? We can assess and evaluate, and based on our actual intellect, our skills, our knowledge, our own wisdom. And within the movie Hidden Figures, you get to see these three uniquely blessed, brilliant women and what they can do to impact the space program and ultimately impact our entire society. That something that seems a bit far-fetched. I guess if I really think about it, like, okay, these are us as human beings in the space program, and especially at the time, the threat of nuclear war and what it could mean to us if Russians were able to go out to space before us, and it's just it's crazy to me, as I think about it, where God's uniquely created us as people to imagine, to dream, and to consider, okay, what would it look like for human beings to get out of this world and explore space? And in and of itself, that is such a testament to who God is to me. And this movie beautifully articulates one, that passion, that pursuit of dreams and the unknown, and also reveals kind of the dirty side of humanity and racism and judgment and ostracization. And I think it's an inspiring movie. I've watched it with my boys multiple times, and it allows for good conversations to flow out of it. So if you're needing kind of the out of box movie to watch over the 4th of July or this summer, I'd encourage you to go watch it with your kids and use it as a facility to go and have crucial conversations with your kids about, I guess, where America's been and where it's going. And hopefully we can leave America a better place through our pursuits of him and what he's calling us to do, and ultimately to operate in the freedom that we have here in this beautiful country. So I am done for now. I will hopefully talk to you guys tomorrow. Blessings.